Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Tara Peters. I am Commute Seattle's Communications Director, and I am so glad to have you all be joining us this morning for a very timely and important presentation gearing up for Bike Month. So, if you didn't know, May is Bike Everywhere month. And so April is the perfect time to start making your plans at your workplace for how to encourage your employees to bike everywhere, bike to work, bike for fun, get around on two wheels. So this webinar is going to give you all the information and tools that you need to lead Bike Month programming for your workplace. You will be hearing from some experts in the space as well. We're pleased to be joined as well today with our partners from Cascade Bicycle Club, who will talk a little bit more in depth about the Bike Everywhere Month and Bike Everywhere Challenge. So lots of rich information today. We're just going to jump right into it. Before we get fully started, I want to introduce Commute Seattle to those on the call who may be new to our work. So we are Commute Seattle. We are a nonprofit that serves over 200,000 workers citywide. Through our partnerships with both large and small employers, as well as properties and destinations, public agencies, and community organizations, we help people shift to sustainable transportation options and comply with some of our state and city regulations, including Washington State's Commuter Production Law and Seattle's Commuter Benefits Ordinance. Our mission is to make it easy for everyone across Puget Sound to walk, ride, or roll to Seattle's opportunities. And we envision a region where affordable and sustainable options are the best way for everyone to connect to the important places in their lives. This webinar is part of our Commute University series. If you haven't attended one of these series before, this webinar series is designed to inform and inspire transportation coordinators across the city, as well as any champion of transportation benefits. So if you are not a designated transportation coordinator, but you're just passionate about sustainable commuting, this space is for you. And we're here to provide resources, ideas, experts, and tools for you to level up your commute programs at your workplace. You'll learn from a broad range of panelists about different strategies, and today's topic is all about tools and strategies for getting people on bikes. Today's webinar is sponsored by Ride Panda. Thank you to Ride Panda for your support of this series. If you're not familiar with Ride Panda, they provide leased micromobility solutions to your employees. So be sure to check them out. With that, we're going to turn it over to today's lesson, Gearing Up for Bike Month. We are joined by Anna Smalley and Elizabeth Bear, who are the Employee Transportation Specialists for the Downtown Seattle Association, as well as transportation specialists here at Commute Seattle. They're going to be sharing important tools and strategies that they've implemented here at our work site to make bike commuting more adopted by more employees across the organization. Following Anna and Elizabeth's presentation, we will hear from Derek Maiolo from Cascade Bicycle Club. He will share more about Bike Everywhere Month, including different events that are happening in May and how you can encourage bike commuting at your workplace using Cascade's ready-to-use Bike Everywhere Challenge tool. So with that, if you have questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to put them in the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. We will have time at the end of the presentations for a Q&A discussion. We should be wrapped up here by 11 a.m. and you will receive a recording of the event following the webinar, so you can reference it at your leisure later. With that, I will turn it over to Anna and Elizabeth for the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anna. Alongside Elizabeth, I am the Employee Transportation Coordinator for the Downtown Seattle Association, and I am the Education and Outreach Specialist for Commute Seattle. So between that, I do get to do a lot of bike programming. So now that you know May is Bike Everywhere Month nationwide, Bike Everywhere Month is the perfect time to reassess, rebuild, or even start a bike commuting program. But before we get into that, I want to get ourselves rooted in kind of why we're excited to be doing this encourage bike commuting. So the first is to increase employee satisfaction. Bike commuters are the happiest commuters. And as you can see in our Net Promoter Score graph, bike commuters are the most likely to recommend their commute to a friend by quite a bit, compared to the other modes of transportation. It also promotes affordability and sustainability. Bike commuting is a low-cost, carbon-free, and self-directed commuting option that makes it a great option. It also can help to attract and retain talent at your work site. Over 90% of our CTR work sites offer some sort of bicycle facility, and employees really appreciate them, which keeps them around longer. These are all great benefits year-round, but Bike Month is a unique opportunity to encourage change right as the weather is getting nicer. There's also going to be a lot of bike-themed special community events throughout May that we'll discuss later. And it can encourage lower driving alone rates as we're coming into this survey cycle. Our advice is to use Bike Everywhere Month to really dig into programming that will support a long-term culture of bike commuting at your workplace. So one thing I really want to emphasize here is that there's no one-size-fits-all approach. Every workplace is different, and that's okay. You need to cater your program to the specific needs of your employees. That being said, we're going to share what we have seen to be the most effective strategies at both our workplace and across the work sites we support. The most successful sites tend to combine these three elements. The first is going to be infrastructure. This generally refers to things like showers and bike racks, but can also refer to local infrastructure like safe bike paths. We'll get more specific about this later as well. The second is benefits. This can look like incentives for biking to work, or subsidies to get folks the equipment that they need. And again, we'll provide some real examples from CTR sites throughout this presentation. And the third is culture. This is really all about getting people excited and motivated to bike to work. And again, we'll share some examples of fun events and challenges that you could implement at your work site.
Thanks, Anna. As Anna mentioned, we're really going to dig into these three core pillars of what we've observed at our workplace and across the transportation management plan affected buildings and commuter production affected work sites that we support as being really successful components. So I want to start with infrastructure. And as Anna mentioned, this can refer to both infrastructure at your work site and also in the area. And I'm going to give you some tangible strategies that you can use both in this month and beyond. But I first want to really emphasize what trends we've seen across our city that really illustrate how city infrastructure, employee programs, and employee behavior can all interface with each other and support happy, successful bike commuters in this month and for the rest of the year. So I want to refer you first to, on the right, we have this map here, and it looks a little confusing, but really the point here is that in these darker areas is where we have the highest percentage of commuters, their zip codes in which they live, and how often they are bike commuting. So darker blue, more bike commuters. You can see that lines up pretty well with where there is a lot of these green lines, and that is protected bike infrastructure. That could be protected bike lanes or trails within the city of Seattle. So you can see where there's a lot of density, there tends to be more people commuting. And that makes a lot of sense intuitively that people want to commute where there's safe bike infrastructure. We also see here with these orange dots, those are the workplaces that have the highest percentage of their employees commuting via bike. Again, you can see a lot of these are right along those protected bike infrastructures. So you can really see when you take it to a geographic scale that infrastructure across the city is really significant in allowing your employees to have a safe and enjoyable way to get to work on their bikes. Now, you may not be moving your work site to right along the Burke-Gilman just for Bike Month. If that's in your budget, I would strongly recommend it, but that's not an option for many of us. But that doesn't mean that you can't take advantage of the infrastructure in your area. Some ways that you can really lean into city infrastructure is by making sure that your employees know what infrastructure is near them. There has been a lot of growth in the area in the infrastructure that we have. We have a lot of really great resources available, and making sure that you have available bike maps. If you need some of those, Commute Seattle is happy to provide them to you, and that you have information for your employees to access on where they can bike safely. The other component of infrastructure is the infrastructure within your workplace, and that can be showers, bike racks, all different ways that once employees get to work, that they can have a great place to transition from their commute to the office and have a safe place to keep their bike. Again, likely that you're not going to be building a bike room just for Bike Month, but this is a really great time to, if you have some infrastructure, check in. It's been a long winter. Sometimes there are maintenance requests that are needed, and doing just a little perusal of that space, putting in any facilities needs that are valuable for your employees can really make a big difference. There are also small and relatively low cost components that can take your bike infrastructure from great to amazing, and that can be as simple as having hair ties available or dryers. Even in the summer, there's a good amount of rain here, some basic tools, and some extra safety gear in case people forget those things. Making sure that you re-up those small items in this time is a great way you can make sure your facilities are up to snuff and improve any of the facilities that you might already have. Another really great way to encourage bike commuting at your workplace that we see across our sites and at our own work site is having benefits and incentives. These can take a lot of forms and they don't have to be very costly, but Bike Month is a really great time to remind your employees of any benefits that you currently have, discuss any changes that you might want to make with leadership, or even do a temporary trial of some type of benefit just for this month to see if it's something that employees enjoy. As I mentioned, these benefits can take a lot of different forms, but we have seen in the last round of program reports that 25% of commute to production sites offer some sort of micromobility subsidy. And I'm going to go into what kind of form that can take because it can be really flexible. We also have seen that companies in the top 10% of bike commuters are twice as likely to provide a micromobility subsidy as other work sites. So you can really see that those subsidies make a difference in how many people are actually biking to work. I'm excited to share some real examples from CTR sites that you can really see run the gamut of high cost and high investment to really easy to implement. So a lot of sites subsidize bike maintenance costs. This can be at a lot of different levels. It can be in the form of gift cards to local bike shops, or it can be a pre-tax deduction. We also have some sites that do a $5 cash incentive for every single active commute. That's a pretty high cost, high investment, but we have seen that to be very effective, and that's something that you could trial just for Bike Month as well. Kind of going to the other end of the spectrum on investment, and I know that this is something that we're talking about doing here, is having free coffee or some type of treat on Mondays or any specific day for those who bike to work. Those small types of benefits can make a really big difference in motivating people and also building community. So even if you try that just during the month of Bike Month, that could be a really good way to show your bike commuters that you care and that you see the way that they're doing. Another option is a corporate shared micromobility or bike rental account. And one of the great ways you can do that is through the Ride Panda program, our sponsor, a leased micromobility option. You can also do corporate accounts on micromobility, such as Lime, throughout the community. So whatever benefits you decide to do, there's a lot of different ways that you can fit what works for your budget and within your current suite of benefits.
So moving from infrastructure and benefits into culture. Some of our top bike commuting sites report that culture is a huge part of how they get people biking and keep people biking. And so you want to be able to build a really awesome worksite bike culture. We have a few different ideas for you. The first is by hosting or encouraging employees to attend events. So last year we put together quite a few events to get people excited about biking to work. We wanted to make it as easy as possible for you to replicate these sorts of events to create internal excitement at your workplace. So we have three kind of examples of events that you could host, and you can find these posters that are on the screen on our website, and they're editable. So you can just add in your info and go with that. So these events that we came up with are, the first is called Bike Basics, and it encourages people to bike by providing information on how to do so. You could partner with a local bike shop or even one of your bike commuters at your worksite to share their tips on how they keep their bike ready to go for bike commuting. Another is called, well, we named it Community Commute, which essentially you just create a space for people to be able to commute by bike together. And this really allows people to find community in that and continue to do so. You could even offer treats after as a sort of encouragement. And then the other one is Bagels for Bikers, essentially just celebrating people that bike to work and buying them bagels or whatever treat you find fitting is a great way to encourage those people that already do so to continue doing so. And then another great way to keep bike culture going is just to encourage and elevate natural community and leadership that is created by bike commuters at your work site. So from our 2024 survey, which I referenced before, we know that bike commuters are the most likely to recommend their commute to a colleague. And so we want to enable them to do just that. They're going to be talking about this great commute, and let's give them the space to be able to do that. So an example is in our office, we recently moved locations, new bike room, all of that. And we were chatting with a few of our avid bike commuters, and they let us know that the bike room goes directly onto a street and actually right onto a bus stop. And it's just like clear glass so everyone can see their bikes and they can see them, getting ready for the day. And they suggested that it might be nice to have a frosted window in from the street and that it would make a huge difference in making them feel safer, that their bikes were safer. And it would just really improve their experience of biking. And they were able to work with the building to make that happen. And it was super easy to do and just made such a difference for our bike commuters. And so really being able to just listen to what those bike commuters have to say, we were able to upgrade a space that we certainly would not have thought of to do ourselves. So I just talked about some of the ways that you can host a Bike Month event and build excitement internally. And hopefully that gave you some ideas. But there are so many events that take place during Bike Month. So in just a second, I would like to invite Derek Maiolo from the Cascade Bicycle Club to talk about what they're doing to celebrate Bike Month. All right, Derek, take it away.
Thank you, Anna. Yeah, May is certainly my favorite month of the year because it's an entire month to celebrate one of my favorite things, biking. So yeah, I'm going to talk about a few ways that Cascade and Washington Bikes are celebrating during the month of May and how you can get involved. So just to start, my name is Derek Maiolo. I'm the Community Engagement Manager at the Cascade Bicycle Club. I also represent Washington Bikes, so you're going to see both of these logos on here, and I'm going to be talking about both of these organizations. So I just want to explain, first of all, what that means, what that distinction is. Cascade Bicycle Club is our 501c3. We are our main mission is to make biking safer and better in across Washington. We provide provide bike education to schools across the state. We also put on rides. You have maybe heard about STP, Seattle to Portland. We also have events kind of throughout the summer and fall all across the state. And we have advocacy as a big part of our work. Washington Bikes is our 501c4. Again, it's part of that advocacy effort, but we are endorsing political candidates. We're going to the Capitol and pushing for better regulations around biking. We this year are really active with regulating e-motos to make bike lanes safer for pedestrians and cyclists, with the goal of, again, making biking safe and accessible for all across Washington. So, why participate in Bike Month? I certainly am biased when it comes to this. I bike into work every day. I loved hearing about how bike commuters are some of the happiest out there. I certainly feel that this time of year. It's easy to put a smile on my face when the weather is so great. A little harder in the winter, but it is still one of my favorite parts of the day. But across the city, biking is a really great way to achieve some of the goals that we talk about around sustainability, around transportation management. I love seeing bikes on the trail and passing cars on the road that are stuck in traffic. So great way to, as the city gets busier and busier, to reduce the car load and to reduce emissions. It's also a cost-effective way. When I see gas prices, especially right now, rising, I love that I'm on my bike every day. I don't have to drive my car. Promoting healthy habits, burning calories, mental and physical benefits that come from biking. I come from an environmental background, so certainly reducing carbon emissions is top of mind for me. But also camaraderie among colleagues here at the Bike Club. We are lucky enough to be right on Lake Washington, so biking in is really fun. We have activities. We have our staff, all staff day this Friday, where we usually follow that with a bike ride together. And it's just a really great way to make friends, to build connections at the workplace. And competition in healthy doses can be a really great way to motivate people to bike, or maybe try bike commuting for the first time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And I love just this photo that I have on here is from last year's Bike Everywhere Day. We had a little board where people were invited to write about why they bike, and we had someone write, "I bike because it makes me feel free," and I certainly agree with that. So May is Bike Month. May 1st through 31st, we are going to be celebrating, and we have some events to help others do that, celebrate with us. So I'm going to talk in a minute about the Bike Month Challenge. That is, we have done this in the past. We're bringing it back. That goes from May 1st to the 31st, and we're kicking it off that last week of April with a team captain bash at the Burt Gilman Brewing. I'll talk a little bit more about what that's going to look like. But then during the month of May, we've got a few events that I just want to highlight. We've kind of got things going on every day with our free group ride series. But marquee events, May 6th, we're going to be at Seattle Town Hall doing a panel discussion. We'll have advocates from Cascade there, as well as the Safe Streets Alliance. We'll be talking about ways that people can get involved in their communities, everything from our Pedal Relief Project to their local neighborhood greenways group. And May 6th is also Bike to School Day, so we're going to be providing some water bottles to local students and encouraging them to bike to school that day. May 13th, this is a Wednesday. This is our big Bike Everywhere Day. You've maybe participated in the past, visited a local celebration station. I'll talk more about those in a little bit. And then May 21st, our Bike Month Luncheon. This is our big fundraiser for the year. You can certainly support us by registering for a table, sponsoring a table, and attending that. We'll be talking, have a keynote on biking in the community, and our theme this year is when neighbors bike together. Sort of an ode to Mr. Rogers. I went to grad school in Pittsburgh, so it's kind of a funny coincidence there for doing Mr. Rogers this year. But all right, so yeah, next slide we'll talk about our Bike Month Challenge. You may have seen this before. It's been a few years, but we are returning with the Bike Everywhere Challenge. I'm really excited about this. We've heard from a lot of people who missed this and excited to bring this back. Our Bike Month, Bike Everywhere Month and Bike Challenge, our sponsors are Amazon, Microsoft, and Lime. So definitely want to give them a shout out for helping to support this. We are doing this throughout the month of May. People can compete in a variety of ways. They can go solo, in teams, or new this year is to compete as a company. We'll have, it's called networks as part of the leaderboard within the challenge platform. And so you can even, if I have my email address, our Bike Month email address down below. We can even send you a custom join link to make it easy for employees to join through an organization or a company. Or people can, again, just compete on their own or form teams of up to 10 people. What I love about the platform we're using this year is it allows a lot of flexibility for people. It's a mile-based challenge, so the more miles people log, the higher they'll rank in the leaderboards, but we're also going to be providing a variety of prizes throughout the month that are not just based on miles, because we really want to encourage people who maybe haven't biked before or don't, bike every day to push themselves. And so we want to reward those people who might not be logging the most miles, but are still putting in that effort. So we have thanks to our sponsors and some of our own provided swag, such as t-shirts, stickers, water bottles, and other things. We're going to be raffling prizes throughout the month based on people's participation. So these are things like logging a trip on a certain day, logging trips during the weekday, on the weekend, integrating or linking their Strava accounts, because there is a Strava integration, which makes it even easier for people to participate. But I would definitely encourage, it was talked about before, that this challenge offers a way for promoting this within companies and organizations is a great way to add some of those incentives at the workplace. So you are definitely free to encourage people at your organization to bike with some awards, with some prizes of your own. And the leaderboards are totally, open to anyone who's signed up. So you are able to see how different teams are ranked, and makes it really easy to offer your own prizes if you'd like, and to promote this challenge at your workplace. It's totally free for people to sign up. They can do so on our website. They can download the Washington Bikes app, and like I said, that they can connect their Strava, so they just can sign up online, connect their Strava, and any of their bike activities will be automatically entered and logged into the challenge. So our registration is opening next Friday. We're kind of wrapping up our beta testing because this is a new platform. So like I said, registration will open next Friday. All of that, like the how to join and links to join, will be up next Friday at wabikes.org/bike challenge. We're also going to be really promoting this, broadcasting this everywhere we can. So there'll be lots of information about joining this, but just wanted to prime you all for next Friday is when you can when people can start signing up for it, but definitely never too soon to start getting people excited for it. I've also got a social media toolkit, which we had a really great local graphic designer do this graphic for us for the challenge and for Bike Everywhere Month. And so I've got a social media toolkit I'm happy to share to make it even easier for you all to promote this among employees at the workplace, wherever. So definitely, just if you would like that or have any questions about this, just feel free to reach out to me. That's bikemonth@cascade.org. So then another great way to get involved in the month of May is to join us on Bike Everywhere Day by hosting a celebration station. So Wednesday, May 13th, this is when we're going to be having this. It's part of a national movement. The League of American Bicyclists they do this on a national scale, promoting a lot of events during Bike Everywhere Month. So a celebration station is a really pretty easy build your own adventure kind of style way to get involved on this day. Some of you may have already either participated or hosted your own station in the past. They really look pretty different depending on the where they're run or the organization putting it on. This usually is a table with maybe some music, handing out snacks. It's a great way at your workplace to encourage people to bike into work on that day, but also to reward people for, and just it's a celebratory mood. You don't have to, the celebration station we put on in Fremont, we're not turning people away if they walked there, scooted there, whatever. It's like, whoever's coming by, we've got music and good times and snacks, giveaways. So it's just a really festive way to celebrate Bike Everywhere Day. And we've got I encourage you, we've got our hashtag Bike Everywhere. I encourage you to take photos of your station, share them with us on email, on social media, our Cascade social media account. Happy to promote those. And we are also happy to share and promote your station if you are going to host one on our website. We've got a map I'll show here on the next slide of all the stations we had last year. I think across Washington we had 170 celebration stations. Puget Sound definitely is our really popular area with a lot of stations, but we love to see this engagement across the state. And if you scan the QR code on this slide, it will take you to a Google form where you can enter in information about if you are planning to host a celebration station, and we will add you to the 2026 version of that map. And that just helps people plan their day. We love when people are kind of mapping out, okay, I'm going to go to this station first and then this one, and on their way to work, to school, wherever they're going. It's a really great way for people to who love to collect snacks along the way, goodies along the way to their commute. It helps them plan that out. So yeah, this is a photo last year of kind of zoomed in on the Puget Sound region. You can see a lot of green dots there where we had celebration stations. You can't see it, but the Cascade are in red. We had one in Renton last year, and then it's hidden among so many other green arrows. But we had our big one in Fremont as well. We'll be returning to Fremont again this year, and just really looking forward to it. It's such a fun day. One of my favorite days of the year as part of the job. If you have not biked into work on that day or just gone outside and seen the mood, it's super fun. So definitely encourage you on May 13th to get out and join us. And that's all I've got. Yeah, thank you so much for promoting bicycling in the workplace, making our city better for biking, safer, and really just putting smiles on people's faces. I didn't put it on here, but again, if you've got any questions or anything, you can always reach out to me, bikemonth@cascade.org. You can visit our website, cascade.org/bike month for more information, or follow along with us on social media. Look out for all the stuff we got going on. And yeah, thanks again. Thanks for having me also, Commute Seattle.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you so much, Derek, for being here and sharing a little bit about all of the wonderful ways that folks can celebrate Bike Everywhere Month. I have participated in past Bike Everywhere challenges. I love the friendly competition, and so I'm really glad to see you all bringing that back. And that there's, levels for everybody, not just distance-based riders. And yes, Bike Everywhere Day, the celebration stations, also one of my favorite days of the year. Seeing so many people zooming across town from station to station, party hopping. So love all that. We've got a few more community resources that we want to highlight for folks for the month of May as you start planning your Bike Everywhere programming. We're going to start with sharing an opportunity here from the state. So WashDOT has brought back their e-bike rebate program. So now through March of 2027, individuals have the opportunity to apply for an e-bike rebate through the state. Rebates are worth $300, or for income qualified applicants, $1,200 for the purchase of a new e-bike. You can apply and get more information by going to the website listed on this slide, which we will also include in our chat there, as well as our follow-up materials after this webinar. And you just have to apply one time, and WashUp will be selecting applicants every month on a rolling basis. So really encourage you to share this with your employees. We know that biking is a really fun, popular way to get around, but we also have a lot of hills here in Seattle. So those e-bikes can make it easier for more people to access biking as a mode for them and go further on a bike. So check that out, share that with your teams, and encourage people to apply. Our other resource here is our tip sheet of the month. So this is for our transportation coordinators on the call. Every month we send you a tip sheet resource for you to plan the best commute programs that you can at your workplace. So yesterday you should have received your tip sheet of the month here, which is all about getting ready for Bike Everywhere month. So we've got a handy reference guide on how to prepare. A lot of the same tips that you heard here today on the webinar, but be sure to download that and reference that as you are planning in the weeks ahead. With that, we have time for our Q&A discussion. So if you've got questions that you'd like answered, please use that Q&A feature down at the bottom of your screen here. I am gonna kick us off with just a few pre-submitted questions that we had, starting with on the topic of e-bikes. The question is, how can I make my existing bike facilities more e-bike friendly? And I will pass that over to Elizabeth and Anna on our team to start.
Yeah, this is a really great question, and there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. One thing that we've received a lot of positive feedback for at our workplace is it doesn't seem like it's e-bike specific, but it is, and that's having a variety of different bike racks. This is really helpful for e-bikes, but it's also helpful if someone has, I don't know, a tandem bike, or just different sizes of bikes. So making sure that you don't just have one type of bike rack, in particular, having racks that people can roll into rather than having to lift bikes over their heads. Often e-bikes are a lot heavier and can be bulkier and not fit in those racks that are lifted. So that's one way that doesn't really have anything to do with charging or e-bike specific, but is often really appreciated, and I know our staff has really appreciated. When it comes to charging, that's something I would really, if you don't own your workplace's building, encourage speaking with property managers about. A lot of times, a lot of our property management companies have setups or like specific policies that align really well with safety considerations and making sure that like the right voltage of charger is in the right plug. And so working with your property manager on that, there's a lot of really great resources there, and that's something that Commute Seattle can also help you with. So having that safe charging space available as well.
Great. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yes, super helpful, practical tips that you can start today while working towards maybe some bigger infrastructure updates down the line. Got a question here for Derek. Is there a cost for businesses to participate in the Bike Everywhere Challenge?
No, yeah, for if you would like to get like that custom join link and like to be listed as a network this year, no, just reach out, like I said, to our email, and we can just get you added to that network list.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We've got one more question here. We've got, I don't bike to work. How can I still participate in Bike Month or support my employees who do bike? Pass this over to Anna or Elizabeth.
Yeah, I can jump in here. So, as I was talking about in the presentation, if you have at least one employee that bikes to work, they're generally pretty excited to talk about it. And we found that out from our survey as well. And so getting connected with who that is, and I'm we are in a pretty small office area, so we're able to chat with folks, but I think even sending out an email like, hey, does anyone bike and is willing to like chat with me about how that experience is going, I think is a great place to start. But having those people really lead the way in terms of what they would like to see and how they think the best way to get their colleagues excited about biking and ready to bike, I think is a great place to start. Like I mentioned earlier, also connecting with your local bike shops and seeing if they can offer any sort of education that you might not have the expertise on yourself is a great way to do that. And then also just staying connected with Commute Seattle. We are often working with folks who are coming from limited knowledge bases, but we ourselves are excited to share information about bike commuting as well.
Perfect. We've got another question that just came in for you, Derek. Could you share more about the network for the business participation? Is that for the whole organization? We're trying to encourage biking in the entire building across multiple tenants. Would each org/company be a network? So it sounds like this is from a property that has multiple businesses within the
Sure.
property.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good question. So the way that we are structuring it is networks would be, and it's kind of like whatever makes sense for I think like whoever wants to well, so with networks, we were thinking of it like as a whatever company or organization wants to be listed there. The benefit to that is that you can send out a custom join link. So what that means is that we would generate that for you, send it, and then you can distribute that. So whoever receives that custom join link would be automatically joined under that network. Now, people can be a part of a network and also will be represented on the other leaderboards, the team and the individual leaderboard. So you could have multiple teams under a network, as many as you'd like. The only constraint there is that teams are only up to 10 people. So it's just depending on how you want to structure. If you would like if you like I said, if you're managing multiple companies, maybe each of those companies might want their own custom join link to be listed in that network leaderboard as that organization. Otherwise, they can be listed as one large network, and there's no limit to how many teams can be formed under that. I hope that makes sense. Like I said, we're bringing this back. This is a new aspect to this feature, so this is definitely a part that we're testing this year to see what works best. So yeah, let me know if I can clarify anything there.
Sounds good. Thanks, Derek. Folks can send you a note at that email you provided. But what
For
I'm
sure.
hearing is that a property could create a network for that property, share it with everybody, all the companies in that property, and be an easy way to get multiple tenants excited about bike commuting.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Great. Thank you so much. Uh, Another question here. How can I access this recorded video after the meeting? We will send you an email with a link to this video. It will be hosted on our YouTube as well as on our website. So you'll be able to reference this at that time. All right. Really great questions, everybody. Thank you for asking those in the Q&A feature. Before we close, we do want to share a few more opportunities coming up here from Commute Seattle. We have a few more upcoming events. It's spring, things are picking up. So our next event in the Commute University series will be happening on Wednesday, May 6th. And this is how to save money with Vanpool. So we'll be joined by King County Metro's Vanpool team. They'll walk us through how to get started with Vanpool, how this is a cost saving benefit for both employers and really for employees. Everything's included from the gas to the insurance to the maintenance. Pretty incredible benefit. So be sure to join us then and there. And then, of course, we'll be celebrating Bike Month as well. We will have our Bike Month send-off event at the end of the month. So please join us Wednesday, May 27th in Bell Street Park, right along the protected Second Avenue bike lane. If you joined us for our Light Up Your Trip event in December, it's the same location as that event. We'll be there on the work home commute. So from 4 to 6 p.m., you can swing through and we'll have community partners there uh, celebrating and giving away some bike items. I'll also mention for the transportation coordinators on the call that at the end of this month on April 24th, we'll have our transportation transformations event to celebrate the transformative uh, infrastructure to our region that is the Cross Lake connection on line 2. So you'll have the opportunity to join us for a ride along across the lake, hear from our partners at Sound Transit, and hear from our partners at Move Redmond and Connect Bellevue on what this connection means for our region, for commuters across the region. So be on the lookout for your invitation to that event coming out this week. And thank you again for joining us today. We really appreciate your time and commitment to making sure that our region is a more sustainable place. Have a great day.